Judge Lauren Lake exposed woman on paternity court.
I was a kid. I did everything with whoever. 18,
So you had grown up that year?
I wasn't grown up, no.
So you tried to get pregnant on purpose by
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am,
J.
I did.
Because you wanted to marry him that
Yes,
bad.
ma'am, I did, and I don't regret it, and I'd do it again.
A tumultuous relationship was built on shaky ground, and now it was shaken like crazy. Miss Salvo wanted the defendant to step up and be a father, but he wasn't singing that tune. Not so much. Apparently, the guy had proof that he wasn't the father, and baby mama was very particular about her taste in men.
How involved has Mr. Gonzalez been in your daughter's life thus far?
Your Honor, he knows Amaya's his daughter, but he refuses to take care of him. I've never, ever had sex with any Hispanic man but him. I prefer black people. I don't like Hispanic men. I was intoxicated at the time. I was drunk, he came over, he got me at the right time.
Miss Salvo and Mr. Gonzalez's love story reads more like a parody of a romantic comedy. She claimed it was a one-time passion. However, Mr. Gonzalez insisted it was a series of rendezvous. Yup, and he went quite graphic with the detail. Cue the sarcastic slow clap, please.
I was thirsty. I got up. I went to get something to drink in the kitchen. When I opened the fridge, I was naked. Her mom saw me. Her mom was like, wow. Her mom didn't get mad at me or nothing.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
You were naked in her kitchen and she said, wow.
Yes, ma'am.
The plot thickened as the baby mama explained the circumstances that led up to the pregnancy, juggling men like a circus performer. Yup, but in her defense, it was only 2 men. Guess she was playing the field and doing her thing.
The reason we stopped with contact because, he did help me financially when I was pregnant because at first I thought that she was his. But when I had her, when I looked at her, I just knew it wasn't his. My ex-boyfriend, she doesn't look like that. She looks Hispanic to the fullest. His current kids look a lot different than that.
Now, initially, the baby mama wasn't sure baby Amaya was her boyfriend's. But that theory went out the window pretty soon when she started resembling the defendant day by day. And so, the alarm bell started ringing off in her head. She had picture evidence to support her claim as well.
You claim Mr. Gonzalez has a dimple, and here, Amaya, I see that one dimple. So you believe this is the reason why she's ultimately his biological child?
Yes, ma'am.
What other reason, though? Jerome can attest to this. We see in this courtroom all the time that looks can be deceiving.
Looks can be awfully deceiving. The paternity court was certainly proof of that enough. And so the judge ended up raising the most important question of all. Did the supposed boyfriend have a paternity test done on him? Let's see what the mommy had to say about that.
Did you test your ex at all?
I did test him.
Oh, you did? Okay, and what happened?
He's not the father.
Well, that's what your evidence is, Miss Salvo. Okay, so you had your ex tested, and it would reveal that he was excluded as a possibility.
Yeah.
Enter the doubts and betrayals, ladies and gentlemen, because the baby daddy was still denying paternity. Mr. Gonzalez countered with accusations, including an eyebrow-raising revelation about a best friend's involvement. Looks like he wasn't the only Hispanic the baby mama had a dalliance with. Trust issues? More like trust obliterated.
Your best friend had naked pictures of Miss Salvo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Salvo?
He's lying.
Miss Salvo, were you with any other men during this window of time?
No,
Besides your ex-boyfriend and Mr. Gonzalez?
I was with nobody. I don't even know who his supposed to be best friend is because he didn't even talk to nobody.
A wild ride of emotions and questionable decisions coming right up, people. Better buckle up. Looks like Miss Salvo took a trip to the mall to meet a certain someone, and the supposed motorcycle rendezvous ultimately ended up exposing her.
Miss Salvo, do you remember that afternoon, that evening?
Your Honor, the day I went to the mall was to meet up with my current ex-boyfriend. That was when 18 and under. Yeah, I was young and dumb. I was a kid. I did everything with whoever. 18
So you had
under.
grown up that year?
I wasn't grown up, no.
Even after all that, Miss Salvo still claimed she was faithful to only 2 men. Yeah, but Mr. Gonzalez wasn't buying it. Nope. Was it a circus or a merry-go-round of lovers? Confusion reigned supreme over here as the baby daddy shared another instance involving yet another Mexican man. Yep, Mama couldn't get enough.
Your Honor, that boy's been obsessed with me since elementary school. I've been with him since elementary school. He said he wanted a kid
You've
by
been
me.
with him since
No,
elementary?
not with, no.
Okay.
No. He was just a friend, but nothing sexual has ever occurred.
But was that the statement you made to Mr.
No,
Gonzalez?
Your Honor, I told him specifically that he wanted a kid by me.
All this ruckus led to the baby mama raising the baby all by herself. She claimed the baby daddy was of no help at all. Mr. Gonzalez immediately came to his own defense. However, the real role of the father was being played by the plaintiff's fiancée. Yeah, the woman was engaged now. No kidding.
Ms. Salvo says you've been there to help her with the child.
I've been there since day one, since Mike came out. Man.
So was Mr. Gonzalez there? Not there.
No.
And so what do you know about this situation?
Oh, I know. I feel like I'm the daddy, but I don't even have no equipment to be the daddy. But I am the daddy.
Enough with this drama. These guys went nowhere, just kept going around in circles. The results were looming large, and it was the moment to reveal them. Is Mr. Gonzalez gonna hear those 4 magical words? We're about to find out.
Mr. Gonzalez, it has been determined by this court that you are not the father.
Can I still come around and see Amaya and help her out if I can? Because for a year and 4 or 5 months, she's been my daughter and she's still gonna be my daughter. And I told her that before she came in the show.
An angry daddy was here with his daughter, and they were ready to fight the claim of the defendant. All his life, Mr. Jennings believed he was the father of their daughter. And then, out of nowhere, Miss Lynn had a change of heart. But he wasn't ready to let go that easily. And so, they were ready to fight it out.
So, Mr. Jennings, what do you believe is the real reason Ms. Lynn is now saying you aren't the father?
Just out of spite, jealousy.
Spite? Are you spiteful, Ms. Lynn? What
No, first and foremost, if I was spiteful, I wouldn't be standing here right now, because my daughter asked me to be here. And
So
as far as
why?
her being
Why
13,
n-
I
why
didn't
now?
tell her, his wife told her.
The 2 star-crossed teenagers hell-bent on defying their parents' wishes. Sounds like the plot of a drama, right? Nope, that was just the case with these guys. They rushed with things so fast, you're bound to get dizzy. But hold on, the baby mama was apparently up to no good. There were multiple contenders in the ring. Drama level teenage soap opera.
In order for us to get married at my age without my parents' signature, I had to be pregnant.
So you tried to get pregnant on purpose by
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am,
Jennings?
I did.
Because you wanted to marry him that
Yes,
bad?
ma'am, I did, and I don't regret it, and I'd do it again, because my daughter came from that, and that's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Let's dive into the doubts and reservations that surrounded the pregnancy. And there were quite a lot. Miss Lynn admitted to sleeping around, but Mr. Jennings claimed he had no idea about her affairs. Nada! The bombshell? Now they were trying to figure out when the daughter was actually conceived.
Mr. Jennings?
He knew I was trying to get pregnant. He never asked for any of the other details. We were in Alabama between February and mid-March. He's got it listed as April and May. That's not true.
So wait, when did you get married? Did you? It says June 21st.
That's correct.
Is that true? Do
That is
anybody
correct.
have proof of that? Bring up.
I do.
About time the baby daddy dropped the bomb that he was in fact aware of only one possible rival in this paternity showdown. But that was their sworn enemy. Oh, mama! But guess what? The dates don't match up at all. Alabama Mountaintop Rendezvous, anyone?
Ms. Lynn, did you ever tell Mr. Jennings that you had also slept with other men, or did you just
Yes,
keep that?
ma'am, and he was well aware.
Do you remember that conversation, Mr. Jennings?
Yes, but as far as knowing she was trying to get pregnant with other people and all, I know nothing about that. If I'd have known she'd been sleeping with anybody else, I might not even have known Taylor.
Cue the daughter entering the scene with her teenage angst. At 13, she heard the earth-shattering news that Mr. Jennings might not be her real daddy, and so the identity crisis began. But she wasn't giving up. She made it her mission to find out the truth.
When did you start acting on that notion you had? You couldn't let go of this notion.
When I was 23, I asked her and she didn't tell me anything. She went to her room. And so I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go through her people I remember as being her childhood friends and see if any of them know who the other possibilities could be.
Birth certificates and Facebook stalking, the modern-day weapons in the battle for paternity truth. Miss Lynn's social media sleuthing led her to a potential biological father. Sherlock Holmes strikes again. But wait, there was another guy in the shadows who wanted no part of this paternity circus. Dear Lord.
Ms. Lynn, you knew all about this when she met up with this other man for dinner?
After the fact.
After the fact.
Yes, ma'am.
And the man she reached out to, was she correct and was he correct? Was he one of the possibilities?
Yes.
He was?
Yes.
And do you believe he is Taylor's biological father?
I honestly don't know, but she does look like him.
It's Judgment Day, and the results were in. Miss Taylor was on the edge of her seat and all ready to put this all behind her once and for all. Let's see whether she gets the answers she was looking for.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jennings, you are not the father. All right, Taylor. I know this was not the news you wanted.
Taylor, just remember this, baby. It takes more than having a baby to be a parent. He's always been your daddy. He's always gonna be your daddy.
Two dads fighting over the same daughter. Both were sure they were the real deal. In one corner, we had Mr. Thompson, who had relations with the mother, while in the other corner was Mr. Fresneda, who was the husband of the said baby mama. The 30-year-long paternity battle was going to reach a conclusion today.
Me and her mother had relations while Miss Fresneda was away. And it came back into the picture. I stopped seeing Sonia and she was pregnant. When the child was born, family members came to me stating, that she looks like me and things of that nature. And Sonia said no, she knows who she got pregnant by.
So here was the scoop. Mr. Thompson had a thing with Miss Robinson's mom way back when, while Mr. Fresneda was MIA. Fast forward to the baby's arrival, and the family started dropping hints that she might be a Thompson, not a Fresneda. Yup. However, the poor girl who was in the middle of all this was left in the dark.
I got a phone call saying that she had passed away, and I was like,
Are you speaking of Jasmine's mother, Miss Robinson's mother?
Yes, and it was her wishes to say that it was Mr. Fresneda's baby. They raised her, but I'm here today to prove that I am the father. In my heart, she's my daughter.
Cue the heartache and betrayal, people, because Miss Robinson was hurt that nobody spilled the beans about her potential paternity. Now, the plaintiff did reach out to her in the past a couple of times, and the last time when he did contact her was after the passing of her mother. Guess the guy was just waiting for this time, and boom! He dropped this bombshell on his daughter.
In June 2010, he had messaged me on Facebook and was like, hey, tell your mom that I said hi. But I just brushed it off. I'm like, my mom has her own Facebook page. It's just somebody that she knows. So I just left it alone. Didn't say anything about it. And then 5 years later, in 2015, he had reached out to me again.
Time for a little rewind, folks, because there was a lot to unpack here. Initially, Miss Robinson thought someone was playing a cruel joke on her. But a call with Aunt Felicia, and bam! This nightmare turned into a reality. So the hush-hush love affair of her mother dearest came to light. About time, too.
I had told him, I said, Dad, there's this guy named Ladner Thompson that had reached out to me on Facebook and saying that he's my dad. And then he had said kind of the same story that my Aunt Felicia told me. He said that years ago, he had came around saying that he was my dad, but my mom was saying no, and he loved my mom so much and just loved me so much that he just always said I was his daughter.
Now, the craziest thing was that they all lived in that small town, and Mr. Thompson used to run into the mother and the daughter from time to time, and his heart ached. But the secret was to be kept, so he went along his merry way.
I feel like that's when it really should have came out. Like, you see me and you feel like if you feel in your heart so bad that I'm your daughter.
Yes, and I'm so sorry for that, but their relationship was happy, and at the time when she was conceived, I wasn't sure of myself. So it took me a minute to get to where I'm at today. And the reason why I'm here today is because I can't live with it.
Finally, Mr. Fresneda got the much-needed time to state his case. He was fully aware of the situation that went on between his wife and the plaintiff, but he took his wife's word and spent all these years believing that and raising the girl as her own. However, he did have one grievance with Mr. Thompson.
The point I'm trying to make in here, Your Honor, that I wish that he would have addressed me before he sent her a Facebook or whatever. I know he couldn't be able to find me because we had no contact with each other. He lives in one town and I live in another.
Enter Aunt Felicia, the keeper of family secrets. Now, she was here to shed some much-needed light on this family's secret of years. According to her, the baby mama would always get mad whenever the paternity of Miss Robinson was brought up. Well, ain't that guilt rearing its ugly head? Moreover, she also claimed the daughter started resembling more and more like the plaintiff, which made the secret much harder to be kept.
You felt like Ms. Robinson looked different from the other children. And so you attributed that to the fact that Mr. Thompson could potentially be her biological father.
Yeah, sure.
And when you addressed your sister, she maintained that Mr. Fresneda was her child's biological father, and there was no question in her mind.
Absolutely.
Now, this was the first time the alleged baby daddy laid eyes on Miss Robinson since she grew up, and some very real concerns of his made him take this step to finally settle this paternity doubt once and for all.
How do you feel as you look at her?
I feel hurt. I also feel happy. You know, I respect Georgie. You know, we know each other. We're not strangers, you know, but I think it just had to come out, you know, and that's why we're here today.
Yes, Ms. Robinson, what would you like?
I honestly feel like if my mom didn't pass away, that this wouldn't have came out.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the DNA results. Will this 30-year-old paternity secret finally get sorted out? Or will it complicate things even more with these families? Well, the answer was in that envelope. So, let's hear it.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Thompson.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't be crying. It's good. You got this.